All right, well, good morning. And welcome to the Sunday morning celebration service for the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee. I'm Rev Pam Brandman, the senior minister here at the center. And it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the center. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all end in oneness and in love. So we'd like to start our morning by remembering our purpose. Our center's purpose is love, and our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one, in whatever way that is for you. So to set our intentions with our receptivity statement, please read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. Well, our musician today is Tuck Wilson. And summer 2022 has been a busy season for Tuck as he's traveled between the popular resort areas in Lake Tahoe, Santa Cruz, California, and Idaho. And what's really great about this year is besides there is no smoke, COVID is really waning, and he's a popular performer wherever he goes. And the resorts are actually open this year, which is great. But he has the added attraction that in most of these stops, he has grandchildren that love Papa. So life is good. And I want to welcome Tuck Wilson.
Oh, it's great to hear that I'm liked wherever I go. I knew I would learn something this morning. That's wonderful. So, I think we're going to be learning today about being open to new ways of seeing things, being open to inspiration. And this is a song about somebody who was definitely open to inspiration, and he started seeing things from a very different viewpoint of other people and artists who had come before him, and he opened up a whole new world for us. Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and daffodils. Catch the breeze, the winter's chills, in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They wouldn't listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in a violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes that shine a blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined with pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. For they could not love you, and still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside you on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. starry, starry night. Portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met. The ragged men in ragged clothes, the silver thorn, the bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never will.
Thank you, Tuck. And maybe this morning is about learning to listen, all right? So, well, I'd like to introduce our practitioner this morning. It's Brenda Heldoorn. And Brenda is headed off for the Big Sky Retreat in Montana next week. And this year the theme there is Free to Be. And the Big Sky opens their arms wide this year. They're saying to anyone who is embarking on the most powerful journey of all, into their true spiritual nature. Very powerful theme. And they have their key speakers are Reverend Amani Malaika from CSL Albuquerque, and the beloved Reverend Dr. Michael Gott, who's always a joy with his music. He's at the Unity of Houston right now. And also they have Yellowstone National Park. So what's not to love about this great conference? It should be a fabulous week, but she's still here with us. And so please help me welcome Brenda Heldoorn.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Gee, to go from Lake Tahoe to Montana, Big Sky. This morning's sacred reading comes from the Science of Mind textbook. Evolution is a principle which, though invisible, finds manifestation in every form of life. It is the logical or necessary outcome of universal intelligence. But evolution is an effect of intelligence and not its cause. Evolution can only follow involution. Involution is the idea, while evolution is the unfoldment of the idea. Involution precedes evolution, and evolution follows with mechanical precision, propelled by an immutable law, the law of cause and effect. God moves upon God. This is the starting point of creation. Every time one conceives an idea, it is God expressing himself. He is eternally knowing and eternally known through everyone. It is God's nature to know, and there is an emotional craving or desire for expression inherent in the universe. There is a universal law obeying the will of spirit. This is the law through which that which is involved evolves. We, as conscious spirit, set a universal law in motion which moves and makes things from ideas. The spirit involves. The law evolves. The law does not know that it is evolving. It is nature to evolve, and this nature is mechanical. Evolution is the time and the process through which spirit unfolds. Insofar as any individual understands this mental law, he is able to use it. We must learn how it works and comply with the way it works. Always it is an obedient servant. As a man sow, so also shall he reap. Involution and evolution. The thought and the thing. The word and the law. The purpose and the execution. This is the sequence. While there is liberty in evolving principle, It is always in accord with certain fundamental laws of necessity. It seems as though behind evolution there is an irresistible pressure compelling more, better, higher, and greater things. For instance, if we study the evolution of locomotion from the rising of man from the clod, we see him riding upon a horse, in a cart, in a wagon, and so on to the automobile and the airplane. What is this but the evolution of locomotion, the unfolding through man's mind of the possibility of travel? So returning to the knowing that there is one first cause, one source, from which all effect, all creation evolves. And this one source involves itself, expressing as each one of us, expressing as all creation. From this place of knowing, deep within my soul that I am created of the very stuff of God, in likeness and in the image of the first cause. My feet set upon the ground in solid comfort of knowing this oneness. So from this place, creation unfolds. The life of each one of us unfolds according to our involution and expresses as evolution in our lives. So what would I choose this day? This day I choose joy. With every breath and every step, with every encounter, everyone I meet, every chance of greeting, I bring with me joy. And life is joyful. So from this place of creativity, each one of us chooses our own experience of life. And the invitation is open for each one of us to bring more life, more love, more joy, peace, laughter, community that reaches out and touches the world through us. And so I give thanks for this. I am so grateful for the remembering. I'm grateful for that still, small voice that calls me to remember each and every moment with each and every encounter. And so I surrender and I let God be God in me. I release my word to the law, knowing that it always returns fulfilled, and it is done, and all is well, and so it is. I'd like to invite Tuck back.
So Brenda was just talking about involution and evolution, and my daughter is 35 now. I can still remember. It's funny how little things stay with you. I can remember when she was in 10th grade, And I probably had about 700 songs in my repertoire. And one day she told me, "Daddy, that's my favorite song." And I remember it because what it taught me was that the lessons that my wife and I were trying to instill in our children were taking root. Because when something is just the way it is, it's going to stay that way until you open up your mind to inspiration and say, maybe that's not how it should be. Maybe we should do a little better. Well, they stand in line marking time, waiting for the welfare dime, 'cause they can't buy a job. As the man in the silk suit hurries by, he catches a poor old lady's eye. Just for fun, he says, "Hey, get a job." That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. It's just the way it is. They say, "Hey, little boy, you can't go where the others go, 'cause you don't look like they do." I said, "Hey, old man, how can you stand to even think that way? Did you really think about it before you made the rules?" He said, "That's the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is." Oh, they passed a law in '64 to give those who ain't got a little more. But it only goes so far, 'cause a law won't change a person's mind if all he sees at hiring time is a line on some color bar. But that's the way it is. And some things will never change, just the way it is. But don't you believe them? Don't you believe them? Thank you.
Is, we're told so much. We want to just accept life and just get on with it, and it gets pretty frustrating sometimes. Particularly when you see what's going on, it's like going against everything that I believe in. That all the progress that we've made in the world since I was a kid, it's like getting frittered away and opposed. But this is one thing I love about the science of mind, because it talks about how we change that. When what is going on in the world can be inspired to be something greater, because in the end, we have always been and we will always be naturally divine. We are creations of the divine, and each and every person, regardless whether I agree with them or disagree with them, or I like what they're doing or I don't, we are all naturally divine. That is the truth of who we are, our essence, right? And so today we're going to talk about how do we come back to experience that, all right? Now, there's a lot of people that think that, it's going to be, that's the way it is, it's always going to be that way, or maybe God predetermines our fate if we're a creation of God. We've got the whole script written out for our whole life, and we just play out. God's just sitting back there, just observing. But, what is the nature of humankind? Why are we here? Humans are fascinating creatures. We're intelligent, social, creative, capable, caring. But humans are also at times unconscious and destructive, biased, selfish, right? Maybe just trying to get through, right? Mahatma Gandhi said, "You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty." Right? So, do genetics determine our destiny, or do we have a choice in how our lives turn out? Does it just unfold by chance? Is it evolution, where it's the survival of the fittest, and over time that just gradually evolves into the species change and so forth? Is it by trial and error this way, or what we learn in our lives? In genetics, they also talk about the issue of nature or nurture, or opposition. I mean, what is it that takes the possibilities and determines the outcome? Two twins can grow up with very different lives. What are the choices? How did that happen, right? So when we come back to one of the fundamental principles of science of mind, is that humans, like all of creation, have been created in the image and likeness of God by the infinite, invisible force that is God. And we have been created from itself, right? God is all there is, and so there's nothing else to be created from other than God. All right, that's pretty cool. We're naturally divine just because we're created as a part of God. Right? So we're made from divine stuff, right? And this is what it means in Genesis when we're made in the image and likeness of God. God is not made in our image. We're made in God's image. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook said, "There is that within every individual which partakes of the meaning of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates, is God. That is the meaning of the word Emmanuel, the meaning of the word Christ. There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being, and since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine." Ernest is explaining that we are made in the image and likeness of God because that is how we partake of the nature of the divine. A drop of water, ocean water, it's like the ocean. It has the same salt content. Actually, it's very similar to the salt content of our blood. And it has the same chemistry as the ocean. And if you separate that drop of water or a glass of water from the ocean, it's still part of the ocean. It's just looks like it's separate, right? It still has all the ocean's characteristics. So think about this. God is love. We are love. God is peace. We are peace. God is beauty. We are beauty. God is joy. We are joy, irrepressible joy. God is divine. We are divine. God is one life. We are part of that one life that is God. We are not all of God, but we are part of God. And every part of us is part of God. We are part of that divine, infinite presence. Now, all of these inherent qualities of God, these are part of our being. Whether or not we acknowledge them, that is who we are. It's up to us to understand it and to accept it, and therefore experience it. Our experiences depend on what we believe to be true. If we believe that we are alone and separate from God, that's what we'll experience. We will experience limitation, suffering, hardship, stuff as it can get. We can, if we believe it, we can have that awfulness, right? But if we come to understand that we are part of something greater than ourselves, these limitations dissolve, because it's like the darkness vanishes when the light is present. And so we can experience these divine qualities that are the truth of who we are, right? So let's talk about involution and evolution. So this is how the shift occurs. And it's how we humans interact with our divine source, that through involution and evolution. Now, involution and evolution are part of that same process. And so in the reading that Brenda read for us today, involution happens before evolution. Creation starts when God moves upon God, because God's all there is. So that this means that everything is made by God from itself. And so first there's an idea. There's this subjective idea, like a blueprint of what could be the image, and then it's manifest in physical form. Now in science, we would say that potential energy comes into form. E equals mc squared. Science and energy are, and spirituality, there really is no separation there either. So this is involution. When the infinite possibilities align with those qualities of God, the love, the wisdom, beauty, and joy of God, and create an image, an idea, and it creates a mold to be filled. Right? And so the law says, okay, what's your mold? Oh, okay, that's the one you have today. Okay, let me fill it up. Tomorrow you have a new mold. Okay, let me fill that one up. You have a small mold. Okay. Big mold, no problem. It's all the same because it's infinite, right? And so this manifestation process allows spirit to manifest itself in the infinite array of forms that we have in the world, in nature. Right? And so each form, each rock, each plant, each living creature, and every human being is naturally divine and always part of that one life that is God. Now, evolution is when that universal law fills that mold to match the idea that came from God. Spirit involves, law evolves. The law functions mechanically. It manifests. It evolves exactly like the image given to it, the different mold that it has today. So spirit starts the cause and law creates the matching effect. Right? This is the process that spirit uses to express itself in the world. But what if we shut off that connection to spirit? We stop the involution. Well, evolution will continue on its own, right? And so things will continue to unfold. But it will be by trial and error. It will be, we can go into the brambles or we can go down the middle of the road. It's our choice, right? If we want to get some guidance, we just connect with spirit. And that's why spiritual process is so important. And also, as involution guides manifestation, there is the world is evolving towards something more. As Brenda was using the example of locomotion. So we're going farther and faster and beyond the automobile and the airplane, we also now have space travel, or we have electric vehicles. It's all about something greater in a new way. There's always a current frontier. But we also have this ability to choose. We are co-creators with spirit. We get to choose what the mold is going to look like because it's up to us to accept whatever is coming from spirit. Now, inertia is Newton's first law of physics. It says that an object of rest will stay at rest, or an object in motion will tend to stay in motion in that same direction unless it's acted upon by an outside force. And so evolution with inertia, it just keeps manifesting in that same direction. Keeps moving on. And if you see yourself as a victim, you can continue as a victim. If you see yourself as a victor, you'll continue to be a victor. But whatever you see yourself enjoying life and all of its beauty and wonder, that's what you'll continue with. But, this is kind of how our genetics determine to a certain level what's going on, our natural abilities. But but involution suggests that there can be this new cause, a new idea, a new intention. And because we're co-creators, we can make a change for the better or for the worse. It all depends on our choices, right? If Rosa Parks had never decided to sit in that seat on the bus, how different would life be, right? If if we hadn't stood up for I was listening to the news this morning, and a woman who is a lesbian was talking about what it was, all the people are leaving the Methodist Church. I always thought of it as one as the most progressive, but there's lots of congregations that are leaving, and she said, we're sorry to see them go, but I bless them, but it's time to leave if you can't accept that part of God's creation that, that we have a right to be here too. And so there's evolution that occurs is when people make a stand, and they get that strength and vision because they're connected to that inner vision of spirit. Race consciousness is what everyone else believes, the way it's always been. It doesn't matter whether it's true or false. If you just accept it, it continues to play itself out. It could be what our parents taught us, our friends taught us. Very good people can teach us bad things sometimes, or bad people can teach us, could be teaching us something, or maybe it's just because we disagree with them, and that really is the good thing. It's about us. We have the opportunity to think objectively, and spirit will give us that guidance to really think for ourselves and know what is real. Now, in psychic phenomena, they have clairvoyants can see into the future, right? And they can see what we don't see with our normal senses, five senses here in the present. And so some people say, should we believe in them? Is that a problem? Is that a bad thing? Well, what we have to remember is that the psychics see that tendency in motion, right? They see if evolution is going to keep going like it is, they see how it's going to play out, right? But we have choice. Whatever they say is not necessarily what's going to play out, but it does help us see where we're headed sometimes when we can't see around the corner, right? And the clairvoyant can see, and then we can make a different choice. There was a psychic when I was a single mom and life was going on. I went to a psychic to see, ask about my future and my career and all those kinds of things, and she told me that I was going to meet a man who was tall and skinny, and he had these really big, large, round eyes, and he smelled like dirt. Okay, does that sound like the great, wonderful man you want to meet and marry, right? But the good thing was, she said that you're going to travel the world for 50 years together. It's like, oh, that sounds good. I like that. Well, then about 6 months later, I met Michael. And Michael, he had these big round glasses that he wore all the time, kind of his signature. He's tall and skinny. And we are going to travel the world together. Oh, and he was an environmental planner, had his own company, very successful company. And they talk about the environment. Well, there's the dirt, right? So it helped me see, but it gave me some strength to continue on and be persistent through what was going on in my life at the time, right? Now, the other thing that helps us, though, is to shift our focus to the great possibilities that are open to us as part of that infinite life. And human beings have the mental and emotional ability to recognize the indwelling presence of God that reveals the truth, that reveals the higher potential through our intuitive and spiritual nature. So regardless of what's going on in our lives, we can see it in our inner vision, that divine vision. And we shift our thoughts from the way things have always been to those greater possibilities. Those greater possibilities create that new mold, and they start to manifest in our life. Thomas Troward, in the Edinburgh and Doré lectures, he said, "The scientific method of inquiry therefore brings us to the conclusion that the required condition for translating the racial or generic operation of the spirit is a new way of thinking." All right? Change your thinking, change your life. So when we focus on the divine ideas, on these divine spiritual qualities that are also the qualities of us, we open ourselves to that involution process rather than continuing evolution the way it's always been. We change our expectations and intentions, we create a new mold, a new cause, and we experience a new effect. So how do we develop this greater understanding? How do we connect with it? Well, in the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes says, life waits upon man's discovery of natural laws, his discovery of himself, and his discovery of his relationship to the great whole. And this is why spiritual practice is so important. And there's so many different ways of spiritual practice. We can meditate, we can pray. Some people, it's when they're running, or maybe they're a distance swimmer, looking at art or creating art, playing music. My cousin was here visiting this week, and he's a musician, and he's able to earn a living between playing his music and teaching students to play music. And for him, that's that's what life is about, And it's his way of seeking spiritual truth and being. It's whatever way that we take time to be still and listen to that voice of spirit within. Michael Beckwith, in one of his sermons last year, he said, as the alchemist of your own life, find a bit of the frequency you want to experience and place your attention there. As it becomes your perception, live from there. Right? Dalai Lama said something similar. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. So that involution is so important. All right? It's that knowing that we are made of divine stuff. We're not just made to just slog along. We're made to be full of joy and love and compassion for our fellow human beings. But it also takes practice and more practice and more practice. How did we learn how to walk? Right? So we practiced. When we're first making those little steps, we're like 8 months old, something like that, and we're standing up and our parents hold us up, and then they help us when they make those first steps along, and we're just kind of rocking along, and they held us and they practice, and our muscles get stronger, and we kind of get the hang of it, and you get our sea legs, if you will, right? And eventually we can do it on our own and think nothing of it. But one of the greatest joys we have as a parent is when your child can stand up there and they run across the room, and freedom, this is just great, right? But remember the smile on their face. That, when they're not stuck here on the ground, kind of turning over maybe, they can run and be free and make their own choices in life and control their life, right? But it took practice. To the parent, it didn't seem like practice because that's just how you do it. But it's a lot of determination and practice when you're a baby to learn how to stand up and then to walk. So I had a story here. I'm going to collapse it a little bit about Norway and Sweden during the pandemic. But in Norway, they have a strong belief in the community needs to support all people, and the weakest among us should be considered in the decision making of the whole. They've got all this money from oil, and they're spending it on things for the public good, and the opera house and tunnels so people can get to the hospital quicker or to school, that kind of thing. And during COVID, the people were led by a unified government. They came together as a whole. They followed the health advice. They did what was required, and they only had 800 deaths in the whole country during the pandemic. Sweden, on the other hand, was about independence and doing it your way. And they had about 14,500 deaths. Big difference. So, are we part of the one, or are we just individuals? Think about it. Which one connects us with spirit? So, Marianne Williamson talks about this connection with divine. I took this from this next slide from our newsletter this week, and Colleen Akiko, she puts wonderful things in there, and this was near the end, and Marianne Williamson said, "We were born to make manifest the glory of God within us." How wonderful is that, right? The glory of God within us. So, one source of elevating our thoughts to the level of the divine possibilities is to read inspiring writings. And Ernest Holmes wrote the Declaration of Principles, which we also call the Declaration of What We Believe. And it said that it's a very succinct summary of the science of mind. And it said that he sat down and wrote it in less than an hour, just jotted it down, very little editing. And it was first published in October 1927 in the first issue of Science of Mind magazine, and it's been published there every month for 95 years. 95 years, and it still stands the test of time. So what I'd like to do is, Michael, if you would share, I'm going to read through these, what we believe, and if you're online, if you'd like to get a copy of it, just email the center or call us, and we'll send you out a copy of your for your own. And you can read along if you like to, but I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes and just listen and see if it resonates with you. All right? Science of Mind, we believe that, you have to, it's not dogma. It's just if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, look at something else. But see if it resonates. It inspired Ernest. All right. What we believe. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of the mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And let's take this into prayer. And so, as we listen to this inspiration, we allow it to, the process of involution to manifest through us. We allow that higher idea to come into our lives. And we let go of anything that we've been hanging on to that's been holding us back. It might have felt like it was keeping us strong, but we just let go for the moment because we are supported from within by the infinite life that is God, that is the truth of who we are. And as we let go and let God be that truth in our lives, we stand tall and we stand strong, and we share that joy and wonder and peace with the world. We allow ourselves to be that pathway for spirit to express itself in the world. And it is good. This is the spiritual truth of who we are, and we see it in each and every person that we meet. We see it when the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening. We see it as we look out upon the lake and in the clouds as they bring nourishing rain or the gentle wind. We see it in our families, and we allow ourselves to let go of any dissension and whatever our part is, and we know that what we bring to the table is good because it is born of spirit, and it is good, and we share it with love, and we share it with the world to up-level the entire experience of the planet and every person on the face of this earth to feel loved and accepted and empowered to be that divine creation that they were created to be. And together, there is a wonderful synergy of God serving God, of God loving God, of God expressing itself in the myriad of ways that it does, in body, mind, and spirit, and in nature, with beautiful color, and with joy and wonder. Life is good. It is all God, and it is all good. And it is with great gratitude that I release these words, knowing that it is already done, this and even greater. And together we say, and so it is. And so I'd like to welcome Tuck for one more song.
I almost changed this last song, but I really want to play this. This is just a great song. It's Joni Mitchell. Bows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air, feathery canyons everywhere. Well, I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I could have done, but clouds got in the way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, that dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way. But now it's just another show. You'll leave 'em laughing when you go. And if you care, don't let 'em know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take. Still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. Oh, I've looked at life that way. Yeah, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads and say I've changed. But something's lost and something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
You know, that's an interesting song. You know, it's one of those haunting ones that gets in your head. And Joni Mitchell had gone through, she had an illness or a car accident or something? Brain aneurysm. And it's been interesting to watch her come back. All right. And so all of that stuff, the illusions are gone, and it's just that spirit that, her eyes are lit up in a way that they weren't before. She's free in a different way. And, she gets it, how much people love her. And maybe she gets it this time, right? So, but anyway, this brings us to our prosperity time. And we know here at the CSL Tahoe-Truckee that God is our infinite source of all abundance and goodness and of everything. And so your donations here to the center are sharing your goodness, your joy, your abundance with us as our center, and it allows us to fulfill our mission of our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. So we're very grateful for you and your love that you share with us. And if you would hold your offering over your heart and then repeat with me our prosperity affirmation on the next slide. All right. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me blessed and multiplied.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for I am so blessed.
So these offerings, we bless them, we dedicate them to God and to its service of serving our community, serving the world with love and with joy, with peace in our hearts. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. All right. Well, we have some wonderful things happening in our center, and I have a few thank yous I want to do. First, we have Zoom hosting. Adam is doing his first time lead person. He did sound in the past, but now he's doing the sound and the Zoom and all of those wonderful intricacies. And he's being supported by Diana on the camera and coaching. Thank you, Brenda Heldoorn, our practitioner today, and Tuck Wilson, our wonderful musician. Right. At last Sunday we had our barbecue, which was a wonderful time. It was a small group, but it was a wonderful experience. We had a beautiful site in the shade up in North Tahoe Park. There was great food, good conversation with new and old CSL friends, and it concluded with a short walk in the woods. So it's a good day. But now we have some things coming up. So right after the service today, we have our hospitality time. We'll be here in the sanctuary if you're here, and if you're online, we'll keep the lines open so you can communicate on Zoom. Next week, September 4th, we will be in person and online. And we're beginning the new September theme, Living Everyday Wonder Work. Right? It's fall. Fall's here already. And this talk will be Good Work, Creating a Life That Matters. Right? It's not just any work. It's creating a life that matters. I will be the speaker. The practitioner will be Michael Brandman, and our musician will be Angelica Schaefer. And also, it's the first Sunday of the month. We're meeting in person, and we're going to restart one of our favorite traditions, which is the Prayer Partners program. So we have these little cards, and so if you're here, you get to fill out your name and a prayer request, put it in the basket. We'll shake it up, pass it around, and you take out another card, not yours, and you'll have a prayer partner to pray for during the month. And so it's we know that prayer works, and you'd be really surprised. 'Cause when you put it out there, you're kind of giving it to God, letting go and letting God, and accepting that, ooh, it's coming. So take a part of that. Join us next week. Also, all of these announcements, you can check out the website, tahoecsl.org, and we also have a weekly online newsletter So you can sign up for that, and you'll know everything that's happening. Our video recordings are getting up onto the website now and the YouTube channel. We have both the full length, you can hear the music and everything, or the just the minister's talk, whichever you like. Our fabulous CSL e-bikes group this week, they're going to, on Tuesday, August 30th, 10 a.m., they're meeting at Boca Dam parking lot and pedaling to Stampede. And so they're going to have a little picnic lunch on their way back at Little Truckee River. So it should be a wonderful place. It's all north of Truckee. We also have for everyone, including those that don't bicycle, we have the Sage Hen Hike, which is on Sunday, September 11th, 2 weeks from now. And this will be a wonderful time to get together. We'll meet here at the center at noon, and then move from here so we can carpool, or if you don't know how to get there, make all those arrangements. Our next Adopt a Highway service is on September 17th, and we'd love to have a few more people to help us. This is a great service. Highway 267 looks good because of what we do, right? And I think there was a lot from the tourists last week, is what I heard from the team. Yeah. Oh, Michael, it was all in Michael's part of the route. Okay, but anyway, if you would like to participate, there's an online training that you need to do in advance, and so contact the office or Nancy, and we can set you up. Now, the weekend of September 17th and 18th is a big weekend. On Saturday night, we have a concert with Anton Miserak and his wife, Laura Berryhill, at 7 p.m., a transformational healing concert. And both of them, their education is in religions of the world, and they both play lots of different instruments, and it's going to be a wonderful experience with music from around the world. Suggested love offering of $15 to $20. So, and it's going to be a great event. So this is a good time to bring your friends and family, and really make this a great time for our center, because they will enjoy it, and so will you. Now, that Sunday morning, Anton and Laura are also going to be our guest speakers and musicians, and they've planned a journey in song and story that weaves in stories and teachings from the Native American traditions, from Buddhism and Hinduism. So really a special gift that they're going to be presenting for us. Another group is forming. So they had their first meeting last week, and this is a red tent circle, a women's circle that meets monthly on, and this next one is Wednesday, September 21st from 6:30 to 8:30. It's a sharing of a potluck dinner, and Jackie Price from our center and her friend Marika, are facilitating this group, and they're meeting at the Wellness Center in Kings Beach. So there's a phone number to call to get some details. And then the premier event in September is our retreat at Ananda's Expanding Light Retreat, September 23rd through the 25th. And it's called the Serenity of Surrender Retreat. I am really excited this year because we have two fabulous people that are going to be leading it. And so Gary Lynn Floyd, and just any place he is, it's just wonderful. And Eugene Holden, who is the practitioner that's facilitating, he calls Gary G-Flow because it just flows, right? And but Eugene was the director of the CSL Ministry of Prayer for 10 years. So, when he prays, you've been prayed for. Life changes. And but he also, right now, in the Science of Mind magazine, he's the one that writes the monthly affirmations. And so, you'll know his consciousness is wonderful. It's been great working with them to plan this. So now August 31st, this Wednesday, is the deadline for the early bird discount. So if you want to get the discount price, need to pay by then. We still have rooms available. But the registration for full price needs to be paid by September 8th. Ananda wants their money 2 weeks early so they can plan and hire the cooks and get all the rooms ready for us. So. And then we also have our wonderful, just as wonderful, things that happen every week in our drop-in classes. So Chris Worcester has his Tai Chi class on Thursdays at 3:30, and then soon after that, there's a meditation with Mary McEnany following the Ananda style of Paramhansa Yogananda. Energization at 4:30, meditation at 5. And then on Friday nights is the wonderful group talking about A Course of Love. It's at 6:30. And so this group has been meeting together, a lot of them, for a long time, and they really dive deep and go through. But you do not need to prepare, and they're always welcome. Anyone new can just come. You don't have to prepare in advance. Just be willing to come. We've got copies of the book here, or you can share. But it's a time to really think of. That's wonderful thing about Science of Mind. It's not just dogma that this is the way it is. Follow it. No, it's like getting that mind to think, and what little step higher can I take today? So try that. Okay, children's affirmation. We love our children, and wherever they are. And so if you would bless them with me. We see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God, and so it is. All right. So, and our practitioners is the heart of our center, and I want to be grateful that if you would like a prayer after service, please ask, because we don't want anyone to leave with anything heavy on their hearts. And so Brenda Heldoorn is a practitioner here. Nancy O'Neill is here. Michael Brandman is a practitioner. I'm a practitioner. And so if you need prayer, please ask. Okay. So we have, and you also, there's a list over here if you want to make a longer appointment. Their phone numbers are over there. Or you can call the office. Okay. We're going to be gathering in our circle for our closing song, followed by our affirmation.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Here we go. If you would read along with me. I am of the divine being. My true nature is divine. And so it is.